everybody, let's start the meeting. It's I don't know the first item. Pull it up and I'll do it.
All right, hold on.
The president welcoming everybody. I just did. Let's keep going. I don't think anybody, have we got any approval October minutes? I got them. I read them.
November minutes. You see them up there?
November, not October. November minutes. Isn't
Do
it?
you see them up there, Paul?
No, I got October minutes. It's this is November's.
No, I got November on the screen.
Yeah, but I don't want no. Oh, that's November's minutes.
Yes.
So let's approve the minutes. November minutes. I got October minutes. I'm looking at. So
Okay.
let's approve. Somebody, Mark, you want to give us a you want to make a motion, Mark?
I can't hear anything. I'm having a real hard time hearing it. You guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's broken up, but I can hear you. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Okay. Well, can you read lips?
You know what? I'm right next to the router, so
There you
maybe
go.
that's.
There you're on. We can hear
Okay.
you now.
All right, I'll just stand up here like this and hold my computer.
Well, now you're good though. We can hear you cleanly. How about can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear it. I can hold this for like 2 hours.
Someone make a motion. One guy make a motion.
I will.
And somebody second it.
I'll second it.
Thanks. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. Next. Where's the agenda? Hit the
It's
agenda.
coming. It's coming.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, come on, Greg. Get to it.
Gee whiz, Greg. Are you still sick?
Yeah.
I see you had your cursor on it.
Yeah, there it is.
Cool.
There you go.
All right. Are there any reports? I mean, Mark, have you got anything? Mike's not here yet. Steve's not here yet.
Nope.
We did it later. I understand this is not our night, but and I was hoping to do it later so some of these guys that do coach it, high school or late, can eventually get into us. So we have enough for a quorum. I've got nothing except the stuff in the executive committee meeting, and there's a bunch of it, or at least information. So I've got no report. We're back into the end of the season now. I've been getting a lot of stuff on the commission stuff. I don't know if you guys have or where you are with your clubs as far as organizing, but I've been sending that out to Coco and Mike and everybody. So apparently they're getting them lined up to play at this point. New business, Joan Judd. What do we got, 5,000 in the budget, Greg?
I'm sorry?
Joan Judd, I think we get 5,000 still in the budget, correct?
Correct. The question we had, which was useless last year, was, do we make it meaningful and pick one guy and one girl and give them each $2,500?
I would think that's a good idea. I think it makes it a good scholarship at that point.
I mean, it gives them something that they can actually use the money. $500 doesn't go very far nowadays.
I will say we did get all the kids except for one at the Rowdies thing to accept their awards at least. So there was some benefit to it as far as the kids go. They were, because $500 is not. You're right. It's not up to me, man. Make a motion. Somebody.
I'm not in for 25, just 2 awards. We got a lot of people in the league. I like to see. Y'all don't think it's much, but it adds up.
We're now at 10 kids, Merritt. 500, 10 kids. And last year it was more girls. There were only 2
like
males.
3 boys, 2 or 3.
2 or 3, and the rest were females. Well, you were at the ceremony, and Greg was there too.
Yeah.
And the girls seemed very happy about it. I mean, I think if you're gonna, I like the idea of making it meaningful. I do, but I saw everybody last year seemed to be happy with the 500. It's kind of a thank you. I don't think we're going to save anybody's life with 2,500 either at this point.
No, and I'll say too, as a parent of a sophomore in college who's gotten a lot of little scholarships, they go a long way, and they're very, very valuable. $500,
So you
$1,000.
think the 500 for 10 kids is better, Melissa?
I like the idea of being able to reward more kids for sure.
Yeah.
I'm good with that, Greg.
I
So,
make a motion. We keep it at 10 kids, 500.
well, that's what, and it is that, so we don't need to change anything. We don't need any motions. That is what we have. If we want to change it, we'd have to then make a motion and change it, but we didn't. So we're good. We're still on for the same format for Joan Judd then, right?
All right, so then I've been holding off till you decided that, but I'll get the application together and post it.
Yeah. Shelley, is there anything to make that application less, did we ever streamline it? Didn't we say last year it was kind of crazy? We did put a I can't think of the word, what's more important than the other in it, right? Like this and that. We gave it some kind of ladder, I think, last year to at least make the because some kids weren't going to get it. So you wanted to have a reason why. And I guess we had, you had to be have a college acceptance.
Right.
I mean, some things we did last year, but was filling it out is difficult. We had some nice, actually, some of the written stuff was pretty good, I thought.
I mean, we put it, everything's online. It can be uploaded. I had a couple people that had difficulty with that. And in that case, I told them, just email me.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that, but I mean, was there anything, I know the years, we could check that, how many years they played in USA, that's understandable. I thought some of the other stuff, and I'm not going to change it this year, but maybe look at it better this year. I'll have 10 minutes to look at it. There were some things on there that didn't seem like you had to go find it, and then, yeah, I don't know.
Well, I can
the
pull it, I can put it
scores or your-
together and then let you
The other
take a
thing
look.
is the GPA. To me, look, this is not an academic scholarship, right? Are we going to judge a kid so the kids with the better GPAs, like everything else, are going to get it? No. I mean,
Well, they got to be accepted into a college, so that'll
Right.
take that place.
yeah. So less stuff, more length of time in the league and activity, referees, kids that do, that type of thing. We should boost up higher the years in FYSA, the interest in the game or in USA, because it's not an academic scholarship. I mean, I agree. But this year, let's just leave it the way it is. It's too late to go fiddling around. But we had to clean some of that out and make it a little easier for the kids to fill out.
Well, I'll take a look at it. It really isn't difficult
And
to
if there's
change.
anything on there that's hard to figure. And we don't check the GLA. We don't check any of that stuff anyway. We make them send the grades from the school?
Yeah, they do. They send their transcript and such.
And you see, now there's something that could be eliminated, eh?
What about the student that's going to like an SCF, State College, Florida, basically a high school diploma, says you're in,
Yeah.
but they don't really apply to that place until later on? That might be the person who needs the money.
We got the acceptance thing. In other words, where we're asking to see an acceptance letter
Before we
from
give the money out.
college. So they've got to have that in hand. So we're not just giving them $500. It is for something. My point about the grades, Mark, is that this isn't an academic scholarship. So to make them dig out their transcripts and their GREs or their SATs or any other crap, I mean, that's why. That's not what we're asking for. We're asking for kids that have participated for a long time in our league and have a high interest in soccer. Certainly kids that have been referees and things like that really would to me rank much higher rank than their grade point average.
I agree. Yeah.
We don't want dumb kids. We're not, but this isn't an academic deal. It's a service. It's a service award.
Yep, I agree.
How many people applied last year?
And
Not as many as the past. I don't want you to.
I want to say it was like 16 or something like that, and we gave 10.
Now, in the past, Alex, we've given as many as 40 away.
50. I think one year it was 50.
Yeah. So, I mean, just to tell you.
What, $10 a piece or $20?
No, it was 500 each. We had a budget. One year we spent 25 grand.
Yes, it was. It was. And
Yep.
then we had a banquet too.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, we were sinking a lot of money into it. And for years, I mean, we've had more than 500. So it just grew because we had money, and these guys figured, and the board figured, oh, it was not a bad, I mean, nothing bad. Our first idea was 10,000, 5,000 for 2 kids. That was Mike and I. And that didn't, no one liked it. And then I didn't like it either when I started thinking about it. So let's leave it where it is. Let's go to the next. For the good of the game, USA Liverpool 10-day training program in Liverpool. Who is that, Greg?
Yeah.
You want to know something about that?
Well, we had talked about making something available to the players, and first of all, the boys in the of our affiliates. And I've been able to secure a site. The reserve coach for the first team, Liverpool's men's team, first team, their reserve coach as the trainer. And what we're looking at is 9 days, breakfast, dinner, hotel, bus, airfare, the training sessions, 4 training sessions, and 2 matches that'll be set up with 2 of the Merseyside schools. There'll be the schoolboys teams there, which are pretty good. And we're looking at right now, and I haven't got a solid on the airfare, but I'm pretty close, but it's looking about $2,200.
Do you need any chaperones?
I'm sorry? Yes. Well,
Do you need any chaperones?
here's the thing. I need 4 chaperones. The chaperones will pay $200 less than the players will because of, kit and a couple other things that are in the price. So yes, we are looking for 4 chaperones, and the price.
We don't want people coming back with that horrible accent, though.
Yeah.
Greg, is that 2,200 including airfare? No.
Hey,
Yes.
Yes, that's very
Yeah.
good.
How would you
Hey,
like
Mike.
that?
Good price.
Mike, we're looking at synthetic turf field, as well as, I don't know if you heard, the reserve coach for Liverpool, the men's team.
Yeah, but I heard about 4 training sessions. We would need more training sessions in 9 days.
We got 4 training sessions and 2 games.
2 matches. So that's 6 events in 9
That's
days.
6 events in 8 days, or you got a day for travel there, or whatever. So you actually have 1 day off to go to Chester, some castle in Chester or something that we're going to take the kids to, and we're hoping, depending on the date again, to get some match tickets for preseason. So get to a couple preseason friendlies.
If that's including airfare, that's a good price if it's including airfare.
And it's breakfast and dinner too, Mike.
Yeah.
But that's a good price. My son went this year to Richmond University.
Uh-huh.
$1,200 and you paid your own airfare. It was 8 days boarding, 8 days coaching, 3 games, 1 against the pro team, 1 against the city, 1 against the college team.
Who's
So that's
sponsored-
right in there
who's
because that
sponsored
airfare was
that?
$1,000.
Well, how
Who
much?
sponsored that?
I'm sorry?
Who sponsored that?
Nobody. He went to Richmond University, which is a soccer school / college over there.
Yeah, okay.
So they took kids from all around America.
Hey, Paul. Hey, Mike. The reason, and Paul, the reason that the cost is low is because USA would have to put $850 in for the training session and the games. The kids wouldn't be paying for those.
Per kid or total?
Total. The whole shebang would be about $865.
But if we're going to do something like that and offer it, there's got to be a limit, right? Because you can't get the airfares. I mean, you're going to have to.
Yeah, there's
it's gonna have to
18
be tidier than just us talking about it.
18 players.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 coach and a chaperone. 4 chaperones.
What age groups?
Got to keep them close, Greg.
Well, over there, it's like 16 to 19 as far as like when they play in groups over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have to be between 15 and 18, I would assume. I would guess.
Yeah, we
I mean,
can.
that's a wide range because I mean, I would say 15, 16-year-olds or 17, 18-year-olds as a group.
I would start out with 15 and 16-year-olds. Open it up to them. First 18 players that sign up are in.
Just males or males and females?
I'm working on the females right now, okay? And they would be getting training with the Liverpool women's professional team.
Well, let's keep it up. You know, it's when we do this, Greg, I mean, I'm all in favor of it. I don't know about you other guys. What do you think? Anybody to think it's a lousy idea?
No, it seems like a good
I
idea.
think it's a good idea. I would look at probably some of the older kids because those are the kids that are looking at their
Yeah,
senior.
we'll come up with a tight time frame. When, where, how much, when you got to sign up, you know, those types of things, because that's all the real thing we need is a very tight plan. And in that, we'll talk about the age groups too. You know, we'll kind of decide, and you know, I can get to you guys in emails on the side and say, what do you think?
Right.
But I think Mike 15 and 16s are probably, that's, you know, sounds good to me. We'll see if we get it. One thing we don't get, and that's part of this executive committee thing, is trying to get this information out to every club. And it's going to, I think, Greg and Sherry, I know it's not easy, but it's going to may require getting in touch with either the president or whoever we know at the clubs that has things going and say, you know, I'm going to send this to you and please offer it to your kids so they have the opportunity. If we make these opportunities available, that's good. If no one knows about them, not so good, you know.
Right.
So I think that's part of it. And Greg, it's and when we do this, and I know this is part of what you do. Get a nice tight thing, you know, like a date, night game, but a whole thing, so it's very defined for people.
I got the daily itinerary. Everything's already set.
Oh, great. Well, perfect.
It's all together. And there's 2 possible dates. It's just
All right.
just a matter of when we
get
get
right away, so people have an opportunity to it.
right.
Would they be going like representing USA?
Yes.
I'm sorry, this is my business head, but would they be like, what about liability? Would you guys be covered
Of course they'll be covered.
under,
FYSA.
That's why I say travel, right?
you're allowed to do that? I didn't know that, if you
Yeah.
are.
I didn't either.
Well, they just have a release to sign. Each of the kids would have a release to sign, plus they also have to have a medical waiver signed so that chaperones or whoever we have in charge, you know, could get them medical attention if necessary.
Yeah, when you're talking about liability, Sherry, what type of liability do you mean?
I guess injury, probably, injured, you know, primarily.
Yeah, I mean, if the plane goes down, what happens then?
It's an act of God.
Well, no, but I'm saying it's you know, we probably want to check into that somehow, right? And see exactly where our liability ends, especially since we're kicking in on it. But we can do that. There'll be any travel agent will have these answers, Greg. Guys that do this all the time know how the kids are, and I don't know what the liability would cover for, Sheriff. I'm not sure of that. But
Yeah. And I'm not, I mean, I didn't think it through.
no. I think you're right thinking about it.
Yeah.
And now I'm wondering, well, you know, what happens? So, okay, one of the chaperones, not to besmirch your name, Melissa, but somebody goes crazy on one of the kids or you know, molest them. Is that our fault? Are we liable for that? Well,
I also think I'm not so sure that the FYSA player registration is going to cover the type of insurance because I know that you can be registered in Florida with FYSA, and if you want to go to Georgia to play in a tournament, you have to have permission, but that's interstate. I've never seen anything international.
Well, there's international. I know there's international
We
release.
were looking at doing this at Braden River last year, and we did have to get FYSA.
But as far as liability, that's something we probably should check out to see exactly where we are
Yeah.
in that thing. And I think anybody that sets these things up probably will know. If you say to them, you know, what happens in case of,
Okay.
anybody can sue you for anything, but you want to at least have some.
I mean, it might be able to be resolved with a waiver, you know, Greg.
Yeah.
But I think you would just want to verify that, you know.
But even
Okay. I've taken dozens of teams over already. Okay. I know what paperwork has to be filed with the state and what paperwork has to be filed with the with U.S. Soccer International. I mean, with the national body.
Good.
By filing the paperwork with them, you are covered. Okay.
Yeah, the word "covered" bothers me. I don't know what that means. In other words, you're covered for Indians shooting arrows at them, or I mean, you know, what I mean. That's
it's just like participating in any event, you know, or any competition.
Except we're bringing them, we're bringing them on a plane, and then we're bringing them in a bus, and we're bringing them to a place to sleep. You know, it's a little bit different. I'd just like to check that out before we step, because we haven't done it. We don't do this. We haven't done this. I don't want to step into something that we find out later on, like, you mean you didn't get a travel insurance, or you didn't get a waiver, like Jerry suggested. I would just like to know that for USA's sake, because
I'll load up your inbox with all the paperwork that I've put together, as well as releases, waivers, and insurance forms.
Cool. Yeah. It's, I mean, and well, we should ask somebody that's you know, familiar with this, you know, a lawyer, and say, hey, does it make any sense? Is this good? You know, are we covered? Have we done our due diligence as far as what we're doing? Because if we're the sponsor, that's the first time USA has sponsored this thing, right? And we're not exactly deep pockets, but you know, there's you know, I don't want to even, as a board member, I don't want the liability coming back to me. You know, I don't know if that's, we just.
Yeah, well, and that should be easy to find out about it.
Yes. I just want to find that out, Mike, before we should be able to do it. Just want to be sure we got that covered.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go ahead. Greg, start defining it and getting us information. All right. And we need to get it out to the clubs as efficiently as possible and push the clubs to make sure we are talking to the person who can get the information to the kids before the kids all leave. I mean, we've got another couple months, but this type of thing you got to put in front of them quickly.
Yeah, I think that if we got permission from the clubs, and Sherry, you can answer this, can we email the players from our World Soccer account?
I think we should be able to. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you think you can email most of the players that are in USA directly, Sherry? Given that the email addresses are correct.
I think so. Yeah, I'd have to look at, I don't normally do that, but I'm sure it has that functionality.
Does MailChimp or, I mean, anything like that work for something like that? Or is there a program that?
We should be able to pull it through .soccer, I'm sure.
Yeah, you should be able to just email players and parents' accounts for players that are on USA rosters.
Oh, really? Okay. Good.
Right.
That would make things easier. All right. Well, let's keep moving. We're going to adjourn this meeting unless somebody has something, and then go into the executive committee meeting, because we've got a lot of work there to just go through tonight and before we need to sleep. Someone might make a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Someone second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That one's adjourned. Let's get to the next one. We don't need a 5-minute break, right, fellas? We don't need to get up and get a coffee. Can you push that up, Greg? Or is it me?
No, I got it. There you go.
Okay. Approval of the minutes. Do we have the minutes to approve? Anybody will make a motion to approve the minutes of last November's executive committee meeting?
I will.
All right. Second.
Aye.
Aye.
All right. All in favor? Boom. Aye. Protests and appeals, none. Hearing none. Old business, none. New business. What is this, Greg? 28448.
Actually, I added a
Jerry,
few.
okay.
I added a few games on the agenda, but believe it or not, my computer chose this moment to restart, so I can't see my emails on it. So if we could skip those first couple.
Well, let's skip them all and get to the other things and then put them at the end. So
Okay, yeah, it should come up here in a minute.
Is somebody there right now that needs to address one of these games that's online right now with us? So we won't hold you up. There's nobody awaiting 2848, 4418, or WCSC U17 Girls White.
That one I can talk about if you would like that
All right,
one.
well, let's whack that one. Let's get that one out of the way.
All right, so I was notified by Wesley Chapel that their U17 girls team is disbanding and they'll be forfeiting the last 3 games.
All right.
And so, of course, I'll send the notices out, but my question was, is there a fine involved?
I don't think there's an automatic fine, correct?
Well, the game dates are far enough out that there wouldn't be a forfeit fine, right? Because they're telling us ahead of time. But I know in the past sometimes you do find.
Well, yeah, but there's a I mean, we're really looking at a punitive fine for someone going in a league. Some other 17-year-old team now is missing a game. 3 teams are now going to miss playing a match, and that's normally if we fine them, it's punitive. It's to say, hey, if your team is not up to playing the season, take them out now. Don't let us dribble along, because this really undercuts the league when people just decide to drop out. So what do? Someone have a suggestion?
Well, I think we've got to come up with a fine.
Okay.
What's that number? It's just what is the number? You know what I mean? I mean that's.
Yeah, it's all punitive. I mean, it's not for us to make any money.
Because we don't want to allow people to think that they can just jump in the league and jump out.
No, that's you want to make it slightly painful for the club.
Yeah.
Well, and what about the referees? Don't we have to pay the referees for those games?
No.
Okay.
No, because they're not going to schedule them.
Okay.
And they're not
well, they're already scheduled.
I don't know that.
Well, they can take them off. 7 days, they can take them off.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I mean, I like refs too, but these is far enough ahead.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll come up with a fine. Give me a number, somebody.
For 3 games?
Is it not in our bylaws somewhere?
No, the fine isn't. I don't think.
No, I don't think so. I think last
we didn't
year.
ever set an amount.
If I remember, we had this last season and you did like 350, but I'm not saying you should. That's just what you did before.
Is this a fine to the club, right? Not to the team?
Yeah, the club.
It's fine to the club, yes.
I would say $250 a game.
I think that's too stiff myself, but I mean, it's.
How many teams do they have in the league?
I don't know. Well, Wesley Chapel's a member, though. I mean, they do have more teams that play in the league, mostly.
Yeah, they have quite a few.
Yeah. They're a regular member. I mean, they're not some wacko club. This team got away from them. And hey, that happens like it happens to all of us.
Yeah.
That's why, to me, you don't want to make it too odious. But it's up to you guys, not up to me.
Well, what about just
I like 350 total or 300 total.
What the ref fees would be? Just to find them the value of the ref fees.
Yeah, well, so that's 100 a game, 300.
Yeah.
Sure.
And whatever it is, it's not a.
With the proviso that next year they get a performance bond slapped on them at the beginning of the year.
There you go. Whatever the fee is, doesn't matter what the number is, but next year they have to prove that everybody will be there. That's a good idea.
Well, let's go back to that. Remember, we talked about it today, Greg. Here's the issue with the performance bond. You're talking about Wesley Chapel?
For that,
you're talking about that team. That team doesn't exist anymore.
No, but it's going to exist next year.
It may or may not, and none of the kids. My point is that you can't tell this 17, if they come up with an 18, they may have one girl from this team and a whole bunch from somewhere else.
But we're not finding the team; we're finding the club because they can't handle
I'm against a pre-season bond for anybody because we just don't know. Look, we've got 550 teams. How many drop out on us? And that's what you got to keep in mind. We lose 5, 8. I agree with you. Fine them. Me. It's just me arguing and nothing else. I think 300's plenty. It's like a little click and it's a little shot in the nose to say, hey, you can't do this. They know.
I mean, if it's a situation that we see that they do it on a regular basis, then we can come up with a bond.
It's a Greg and I were talking about today. Where you kind of need to keep a sheaf with these things in them to remember that, hey, these guys were there before. It's like having somebody have 3 or 4 coaches kicked out and then another problem in a game. And I don't remember all of them, but that's what we got to remember. So when we go back and say, listen, this is the 4th time you've done this. And so this thing, Wesley Chapel, to me, is not a member that is usually out of bounds. Alton is a regular guy and has always seemed to be pretty straight, Mike.
Yeah,
Steve, you know him. You guys know him.
Yeah.
I mean, they were definitely very apologetic and all that,
Yeah, and I don't think intentionally you get it.
I would just find in the referee fees and get on it. Same with Hernando. Let's just find
All right, next. So 300?
300.
All right.
Once.
Fernando, same deal, right? You got 4 matches.
we have 4 games, and one of their games is this weekend. Yeah, so there's definitely refs assigned to that one.
All right, so there's a forfeit plus a fine.
I'm sorry, how much?
Well, I'm saying what's the forfeit is the fees, right? So we got $100 in that.
Correct.
So 400. How's
400.
that for everybody? Does that sound right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just saying. So, and how about it, boys?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah,
Okay.
4985. The ref abuse, is that North Lakeland?
Greg, that's the one that you told me to put back on.
Yeah,
I thought Merritt made his adjudication on that.
What?
Right?
No, that was a red card. I think you're thinking
No,
of
no,
red.
oh no,
Or not a red card, the send off. I'm sorry, this week.
And that's the North Lakeland coach that got sent off.
Yes, yeah, and we took care of that.
4895 ref abuse. If I'm not mistaken, that is not up to us. The referee has to file that with MSR, correct?
Yeah, they got to file it. They got to call somebody, or if they're gonna file referee abuse.
Well, we can't do anything till they file referee abuse. We can't take that on and say, hey, that's referee abuse. The referee has to file that.
Right.
And I think we advised him of that. Right, Greg? I'm sure we did. And
Yeah.
we just hadn't heard anything back from him.
Well, just tell him, hey, file with FSR. We will then support whatever happens,
Well, if he hasn't filed by now, he's outside the window, I believe, right, Merritt?
Yeah, you got to do it in 48 hours. You got to be.
Oh, yeah, no, this was probably a month ago.
Yeah.
I don't know
Did
what
he send off the coach?
might not have been the coach. Was it the coach? Or was it someone, a spectator?
I think it was the coach, if I remember.
Well, did he toss the coach?
I didn't see that in the game report though.
Well, regardless of whether he hits him with ref abuse, the fact is that the guy should get. Well, again, he's got to report the guy. He reported him, correct? The coach should couple games, yes, for ref abuse, or whatever, not even ref abuse, for dissent, right?
Well, that's why I got to go take a look at this. One of them was the referee was going back to his bag to get his gear together, and he was attacked by some parents that came across the field, and the coach did nothing to stop the parents from accosting him. Okay, I think that's what this one was.
Okay, I don't know. I mean, can you toss the coach for not jumping in there? Maybe, I don't know. I mean, that's a call. The ref's got to make the call. Did you talk to the ref and say, did you toss the coach? Did you tell him, hey, you're going to serve some time for this? I don't know.
Let me see if I can pick up the.
Well, here's a suggestion from now on. When we list these games, Greg, we should have them somewhere quick so we could just knock on them, you know.
Well,
My
I'm
computer,
not being critical. I'm just saying it's quicker for us.
I do. I just, hang on.
Trying to remember what happened. I mean, I see something this old. I don't understand if he hasn't filed, obviously, we can't do that. Merritt, what can you do? What would you do in that case, Merritt? You're going back to the bench and other than you.
You can't do nothing.
Huh?
You can't do anything. It's, if he didn't send the coach, if he didn't, do something or call his district referee administrator and complain or want to put it in writing, if it isn't in writing, if it's not on a game report, it didn't happen.
Yeah, well, we must have something on a game report, though. That's what we're trying to get now.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me get the.
just click officials.
Yeah, I have stuff in my other folder on the other computer. Hold on.
No, and my computer is just coming back up, so I apologize. I don't know why now.
Okay, so I see a game here. So you meant, what is it, 28-48? Was that the one we're talking about? Or no?
No, it was
49-85, I'm sorry.
49-85, yeah.
Minnesota and Rural. Oh man, that was made for trouble. Minnesota and Rural.
Yeah. Okay, here it is. At the conclusion game, Rural Burns began to
This is the one that I thought where the parents accosted him.
Right, the parent.
Right.
Well, the coach from Minnesota did something.
Well, that seems to be handled okay.
Yeah. What I was saying I talked to Greg today. These are things like, see, this to me would go in a folder, right? And just be there.
Yeah, this is a club issue.
Yeah, right. You start to get more than, look, anything can happen in any one game. You start to get guys that it's the third one of something. We had, not to say Minnesota, but if you all remember going back 3 years or 4 years, Minnesota, we had 2 or 3 things in a row. And we told them, I think, and now we have in our bylaws, we cannot play you. We don't have to take you in a league for cause. And we told them, Esther and what's his name down there, Mickey, one more, and we're not playing down there anymore. You take your kids and put them on another field, but we're not going to, you either start managing this or you're not going to be in the league. I thought they did a good, we didn't see them after that. And if you've got rural youth soccer right now, I don't know if you give them a shout out on this. See, to me, Greg, we'd send this to someone at Rural Youth Soccer and say what's going on down there. Nothing more than that. But you need to know this happened.
U11 Division 3.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. People go, well.
We're running away, Merritt. Let's run away, buddy.
But the Merritt, it wouldn't matter if it was the World Cup final. It's still, people are so wrapped up in this.
But but next year, what are they going to do when we don't keep score?
Yeah. Well, the worst thing is these guys, now see, this to me would be, we send it to the club and we need somebody at that club who receives it and who knows what we're talking about. But this goes in a folder. This is one thing, and it's just crazy.
Well, did we follow up with the club? That would be the question.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This should have gone down, in my opinion, this report should go to a club official, and we should know who that club official is and get a response from them, period.
Yes.
Not
You
ask.
know what? We can still do that.
No, I know. Sure we can.
So.
But now we put it somewhere. My point is, Merritt, this goes somewhere, I don't know if it's electronic or physical. The third time you go through that sheaf and say, here, I'm pulling out 3 of these. When this happens again, if it happens again, and I hope it doesn't, this was at Minnesota. This was at Minnesota's home. These are away people, which is unusual, you got to say.
Well, they're Chivas, so.
Yeah, come on.
Well, but it's a rural youth soccer. It's not the Chivas we knew, you know. I mean, Chivas is just a general name, you know.
Yeah, but I mean,
This goes out to rural youth and say, hey, man.
Yeah, we got to do that. That's all we got to do.
One more of these, we're going to be talking.
Yeah, they're on notice. Just put them on notice. You know?
And say, hey, we can't be doing this. That's all.
Hey, Paul, we don't need 3 of these. We only need 2 of them.
Okay, I mean, but you need to document them, Merritt. That's my point. We need to.
Well, all right, well, our administrators ought to be on it.
No, well, that's what we're talking about today. I mean, we had a discussion today about, and Greg said, yeah, we'll pull them out and put them in a sheaf, whatever you want to do. But when you were saying this is the 3rd time this season, you got to have them there and say, here's the first one, here's the second one, this is the 3rd one. We're getting tired of this. Or second.
I wouldn't. I'd go to the second one.
Agreed. We send this down. Greg or Sherry, do you know? Is there anybody at this club that responds or is active? I don't see anybody. I've never seen one in a meeting.
Not this season. I have not really had any kind of communication from them. There used to be a guy named Johnny something, but I don't know that he's still involved.
Yeah, no, I remember him actually. I remember him down here.
Yeah.
But Greg, we had or Sherry, we have to have an AOR. Let's at least try to get to somebody with an email address and tell them, here, we're sending you this. Are we capable of doing that?
Yeah.
Or printing it out or
yeah, I'll get some. We can get some to the club administrator and or the DOC.
Yeah, both, and say, hey, man, we want to hear an just that you got this, a response.
All right.
Not you're sorry, because I know you are, but.
All right, got it.
Okay, cool.
Move on. Moving on.
All right, let's keep moving.
You want to do 2848 next?
Yes, do you have that one now?
I'll get it up in a minute. Hold on.
Yeah, and my computer just came back up, so I'm looking for
I got it.
my notes too.
There you go, Greg.
There you go.
You got
Okay.
a Tampa Dynamo guy on, right?
This was the one that that y'all told me to allow them to replay it because of
Oh, yeah.
right. And so I already sent that out.
Okay.
But now, of course, the home team is upset that we're allowing the reschedule, and they wanted to know who is going to pay the referee fees for the second time.
Who paid him the first time?
They did, the home team.
They paid him.
They paid him.
The away
team pays.
The away team must pay now.
Yeah.
They should have paid to start off with because their parents are the one that made the decision not to go.
Right.
Correct.
But they were correct in making the decision, right? Because the ref gets there and says the field's unplayable. They don't know that, of course.
Well, how do we know the home team didn't get them to put that on there? Or the away team?
No, but I'm saying that the point, well, no, the home team wouldn't want them. They would have wanted the game played because the other team, they would have forfeited.
Right, exactly. So I don't, I'm not.
But some centers saw the field and said the field's unplayable. That stops right there. Merritt,
Don't they play at Arbondale? Don't they play at Lake Myrtle?
Yeah. Hey, Merritt, when that happens, we pay the refs when they even declare that the field's unplayable. We then pay them, right?
Because
why wouldn't you?
Because they didn't do anything. There's usually a travel fee. We probably ought to put a travel fee if they show
At the end of the year, let's correct that, because a guy goes to the game and he has the foresight to say, I can't play on this field. You can't not pay him, because now he's got the incentive to play on any crap field because.
Yeah, but he's going to get paid. Yeah, but he's going to get paid in the second game, Paul.
Right, but I don't know. It's going to be him. But Mike, he's there ready to ref.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't penalize the club.
Why not? The field's not right. They should have closed the thing and let
but most people don't know that until they get to the field.
No. But I think the ref's got to. I mean, to me, the ref's got a point. He's come to the game to ref a game. He's taken his time. He didn't take another game.
Well, I
filled up with this one, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you don't know what the condition of the field until you get there, right?
Yeah, but Paul, I'm for a travel fee, Mike. Maybe not full game fee, but just a travel fee.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
But see, who pays that, Merritt?
Huh?
Who pays it?
The team that didn't get there and check their fields out. If there's a storm coming in, I remember.
The home team's going to pay a travel thing if they don't get to the ref in time.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, we got to somehow this.
Well, it's like.
Put that in.
Well, Paul, it's all right.
I got no problem with it. I think it makes sense.
Well, all right. Well, listen. The reason they pay is it's like if a club doesn't even have control of the fields, and they get there and the county shut it down or the city shut it down. So then,
in this case, that might be the case, right? Those city fields, aren't they? They're owned by Auburndale.
But I'm just giving you an example.
No, but I'm saying in this case they are. You're really talking about fields that are.
Yeah, but they weren't shut down.
Well, that one wasn't playable. Oh, you're right. The whole complex wasn't shut down.
Well, I think the team that did not show up with all their players is responsible for the referee fees for the second game.
Yeah, I'm kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, they would have gotten a $350 forfeit thing, but
If the field had been all right, but it wasn't. All right, so we're letting them replay it, and we're going to tell the Dynamo to play, and we're going to tell Auburndale they're going to play. Correct?
Yeah.
But that Dynamo.
The Dynamo will play. Will pay the referee fees.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I really needed. So.
Yeah, that's cool. That's very judicious.
And they got to go back to Auburndale.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Auburndale's got to host it. They got to reschedule it. Or it's a forfeit.
Because
okay.
I'm with Mike. They didn't show up with their team. Nobody told them not to come. They just decided. Anyway.
But they because they're mind readers. Steve, how you doing? Because Merritt, they're mind readers, and they knew the field was no good, so they didn't waste all their time driving out there and almost getting killed in the middle of a rain.
Well.
No, I'm kidding, but I mean,
we had several closures that day. Although that club, they didn't close, but I couldn't even keep up with them.
It looked like real bad weather coming in, and it might have been in certain areas, but like our fields, I was where they were open, and they were able to play all day. It was just threatening and horrible looking, but kind of raw, but really not that bad by us. We have such a huge area. We don't know what the weather is anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, where I was, which would be fairly close to that, there was like a hurricane.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean,
well, Sherry, so you had a bunch of fields closing. They called you that morning or sent in notices, right?
The other clubs, not Auburndale, but yes.
I know, other clubs did, and you got word out, right?
Well, you can also check and see if Auburndale played any matches that day, but that's not part of our job. But, I mean, it's...
Well, I don't know if you're...
Well, we're not here to do that, but I mean, you could check pretty easily if Auburndale played. You can look at their site there and see how many games are scheduled there, and just look at the games and see if other USA games are played that day. But that's an under 11 field. That may have been an completely unplayable field. The ref obviously felt that way.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Hey, before we get to the next one, Paul, I just want to make sure I don't lose these guys. Charlie, which club are you with?
Suncoast Soccer.
Thank you. Marcus. What club are you with, Marcus? And Ron Jasmine, which club are you with?
It should be Winter Haven, I think.
Yeah, Winter Haven Kicks.
Yeah, Winter Haven.
Winter Haven.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Greg, put me down for West Pasco as well, please.
I got you, Steve.
Okay, thank you.
I just don't know who Marcus is, though. Nobody knows Marcus?
Marcus Brock, that was his name.
Right.
Marcus Brock. Oh, that sounds familiar.
Well, he was here. He was here. Now he's gone. Okay. 4418, Paul.
What is this one?
This one's has to do with a game card, I guess.
There was the coach wasn't printed on the game card and didn't have a pass. But I think it's U9, isn't it? If I remember.
Doesn't make a difference.
No, I know, but.
So that's up to the ref. The ref shouldn't have played the game, or he shouldn't have been on the sidelines, right? Correct.
So,
but he was. So the referee in this case, not our referee because we didn't appoint him, but a USA representative failed to have proper procedure. That's all. What else can we do? Right?
Well,
Tarpon shouldn't have been allowed to play. Shouldn't have had a coach on the sideline.
What I take exception to, though, is that this guy's telling the referee that he's never needed a player pass before. Who the hell is this guy?
The same thing. The ref says, I don't care. Game's canceled. Everybody have fun. You want to decide to play a friendly with each other? That's your business.
and what game is
keep
this?
track of these games anyway.
I'm sorry?
But this is clearly, is this Pinellas County?
Tarpon.
West Pasco.
So tell a guy don't we have a guy here from West Pasco?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. The coach was
No, it's Tarpon. It's Tarpon.
Tarpon, sorry.
Marcus, how you doing?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Where are you from, Marcus?
Bartow Soccer Club.
Okay, great. Okay.
I didn't. Bartow, thank you.
All right, but so Tarpon, who do we have out there? We know the guy out there. What's his name? Just send this to him.
Marcelino or something.
Yes, he's a good guy. He's what's his name? He's a Greek fellow, I think. But I mean,
Marcelo Aguino or something like
yeah,
that.
we see him all the time. I mean, he's a participant. A lot of times he's at the meetings. Send him this and say, hey, what's up with the coach? Someone needs to slap him in the head. Oh, okay.
The assigner should know as well.
Huh?
Peterson, whoever the assigner is on that.
Club
He doesn't assign any assigner. They don't assign this age group.
Right. Okay. So this is a young person, probably.
Yeah. So you go to the Tarpon, to the president there. His name is,
Yeah.
he's a familiar guy. He's around all the time. We get to him, we say, and send this to him and say, why don't you get a hold of this underlying coach and square him
All
away?
right, I'll follow up.
Yeah, yeah. Just let the club know, slap him in the face and in the head, and get him a pass. All right, we're done. Let's go into the other stuff real quick.
I'm sorry, real quick. I do have one other one that came up after I printed the agenda up. 5073. And then this is the last issue.
What is it? 5073?
Yes. And basically, I got a phone call Saturday morning that the coach had notified the other coach that he couldn't make the game because he had injured players. So the Chargers coach called at the last minute. So I explained to them, I was able to cancel the game and cancel the refs. Then the coach contacted me and said, well, what's going to happen? I said, well, it's a forfeit because you notified us 30 minutes before the game started.
Absolutely.
And he was asking for consideration to waive that and allow it to be replayed.
Please.
And I told him, I said, that's not the rule, but because you asked, I'll bring it to the board meeting. So.
Absolutely. Anybody want him, think it should be replayed?
We can pay the forfeit fee and then play it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they can set it up as a thing, but you can't go back now and say it's not a forfeit, right? That's the point of having a schedule, and that's the point of calling a couple days ahead to give someone a consideration to, right? I mean, you either got to, I think it's Mike, so, it's the line all the time. Either you have a league or you don't. Either people have some respect for it or they don't. Right. And in this case, a guy calls up the same day, right? Does anybody think, what do you think, Steve? Well, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't understand why all of a sudden, procedures are not being,
Well, it's constant. I think the centers are part of the problem.
Yeah.
But in this case, the guy he calls up the same day and says, I can't make it because I got some injuries.
An hour before, not even.
But, okay. But an hour before you got some injuries? I mean,
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's a forfeit, period.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I knew you were going to say that, but just
okay.
Off my case, I just told them I'd put it on the agenda. So.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a forfeit. I mean,
because everybody does that. We've got chaos. You don't have a schedule anymore. You got just guys randomly.
Well, that's the whole reason why we put the days, that notification in for that reason, so that we didn't have chaos with people at the last minute saying, hey, I have, okay, you can't play. I'm okay with you forfeiting, but because of your injuries, but there are ramifications.
And I think, Sherry, we're pretty, I think in every single meeting we had with every age, with all the age groups, I think that was a point we made. This is a schedule for a reason, and you assume someone's going to be there and you're going to be there. And if they're not, we've got a problem, So this, that's tough. I don't know who the Chargers are. Is that the Tampa?
Well, it's got to be the Tampa Chargers.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean, that goes back to a couple of years ago when I knew I had all those injuries and I tried all week to get, players to play. And so then, yes, at the last second, I canceled, but I only did that because I didn't want to forfeit. So that's why we kind of at least made it so that at least a week ahead of time, you could, forego some of the penalty. But the bottom line is you still got to, 3, 4, 5 days. You got injuries,
This is lack of respect for the other team.
That's absolutely right.
That's all it is.
That's absolutely right.
Coach, in his defense, he seemed like he just truly was ignorant and didn't realize that it was going to be.
No, but the club.
It could be.
Yeah, but the club is not doing their job, saying, look, because this league doesn't matter to them. I mean, throw a team in here. The team's probably half-ass organized. It's not the coach's fault. It's the club's fault that they don't say, hey, you can't miss,
Right.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, you can't just call up an hour before and cancel a game. I mean,
Right. Okay.
The club,
I mean, you can, but there's going to be ramifications,
All right, so let's forfeit and we're on our way. Let's get to the next. Where are we on the agenda?
The Brookhouse Academy. Brookhouse Academy offer.
Oh, are we done? We're done with God Soccer?
Yes, I guess games. I think we went through them all.
Yes.
All right, let's keep moving. I don't know what time. I haven't got a time here, but
It's 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
All right, Brookhouse House Academy offer. Has everybody? I sent that copy of that to you. Did everybody get it? I didn't have to read it. Did all of the board of directors get it? Do you understand that it's a hell of a deal? It's a hell of an offer. I mean, Mike, can you explain this?
Yeah, well, I mean, through Stuart Campbell from the Rowdies, the head coach of the Rowdies, he introduced me to Laurie, who brought this Brookhouse Academy offer. Brookhouse is like an IMG operation in England. It's a school with an academy on the side. They have a relationship in Australia. They have a relationship in Indonesia with this kind of a deal. They're trying to market the Brookhouse Academy to the States. Obviously, they're trying to find other potential students to pay the fee to go there. But for us, they are wanting to come over and have trials for kids. I'm thinking that it would be freshmen, sophomore, and juniors, kids, and a player that they deem of the ability will be offered the full 2-year full rider scholarship at Brookhouse Academy.
Mike, as well, and then everybody listening, this is the type of thing we're trying to bring more of to USA. This will be open to all USA, all kids playing in USA. But you're going to, Mike, didn't you say you're going to come up with some playing years to try out, like 2003?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, what I'm thinking right now, I'm thinking 2002 through 2000 through 2000, which would be today's under 17s.
So just 2000, 2001, 2002.
Correct. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. I mean, for the reason that it's a 2-year deal, the older they are, they won't be able to get the 2 years in. If they are 18, they can get 18 and 19 in, 17, 18 situation. So, and it would be for those players in the USA league who the coaches would recognize as players that have the potential to be seen and go over. I don't want it to open up to everybody because it's really for those players, because it is an academy over there. It is for players of the higher ability as opposed to just for players.
Well, I guess we have it on the agenda to say, do we offer this out? I mean, I don't think there's any negatives for us. It's just a matter of us pushing this a little more into our clubs again so that they get this out. Is anybody opposed to this? Did you read it through? It's pretty impressive. Mike, there's also I have in my documents a thing from Brookhouse. It's a brochure, I guess. Is that?
Yes, okay. I can get that to everybody.
Yeah, we need to get that, Greg or Sherry, in an electronic form, and then get it out with a little explanation as to what we're doing, because these tryouts are during the week, and they're up in Lutz.
Yeah. So there'll be two different age groups, Tuesday and Wednesday, and then Thursday it would be for those players that were selected on Tuesday and Wednesday to come back on Thursday.
So you'd make 2000, 2001 one night, 2002 another night?
Correct. Yeah, something like that, yeah.
All right. Well, let's get it. I mean, is anybody opposed to pushing this to our kids?
No.
It seems like a good deal, and Mike went back and I guess got him to reconfirm. And so, I mean, for some kid that's really into the side, this is 100. What is it, 100 grand, Mike?
98,000 over 2 years. Yeah.
Wow. I think it's worth anything like that. It's something worth exploring. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I think that from a league, it allows us as a league to recognize, to let clubs know that we recognize the opportunity, that we want to provide opportunities for our players. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Why not?
All right. So, Mike, you're going to refine that better and get it to Greg and Sherry so that we can again send it out, and then decide we send it out to kids, to the coaches, to the.
Yeah. I'll get hold of the coaches, of those age groups and explain to them as well, so that they can.
Okay. Very good. Very good.
Yeah, so remember, a coach who has a superstar player is going to go, yeah, my guy's not interested in that.
No, I agree. I mean, look, the coach has got to be a bigger man than that to see the opportunity for a kid.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, that being the case, if that player finds out that he could have
he could have done that, absolutely.
That'll be a pissed off player, in especially if he knows he's better than the guy that did get selected.
And that'll do a lot more damage than it was worth.
No, there's only one scholarship, and they don't have to offer one. In other words, there's only one available, just so everybody knows, right?
Oh, there's just one for everybody trying out?
Isn't that it, Mike?
Yeah. Well, it's one total or two half.
Okay.
Leaving.
Yeah, so it's very narrow, guys. It's if you read that.
Okay.
But hey, whoever gets it, I mean, if they're really into the game and stuff, it's a hell of a ride. And I think we push and offer it and see who we get, as far as tryouts. But again, this is something that we've got to be really deliberate about getting out to everybody so that they know and can make the offer. And whether we email to all the kids too, that's another question, or the coaches or whatever. So. But we'll start working on that tomorrow.
We'll look at more of the fine detail.
Yes, well, Mike, we got everything. We have all the information, so now we just got to decide how we want to get it out.
Right.
We can do that back and forth ourselves with emails, and then get it done.
It is time sensitive because it's February 20th is the first trial. So
February 20th. Okay.
Yeah.
The referee situation, Steve, you weren't before we started the meeting, and Mike, you missed it. We're talking about the referees. Kai mentioned to me, Kai, you still here? Is Kai still with us? Kai, baby.
I'm still here.
Okay. Kai mentioned to me that one of the things that happens with us is we have these things that we're looking at, and because nobody is responsible, nobody takes ownership of this project, they don't get followed. We don't follow through. He's not accusatory. It's just a general problem of volunteer organizations. So the referee situation, we know we've got three things right now. One, I'll draw up. We're gonna propose to change the remuneration for referees next season. A. B. We're gonna put up whatever we got to bonds and get maybe 4 or 5 of these referee classes out in the different areas.
Right.
We'll do that through our ref coordinators first, our
Signers.
Yeah. And try and find, we got to get a spot, but we will back the finances so no one says, because I talked to a lot of guys that say, hey, the way FSR is now, I don't get the kids anymore. I'm not going to bust my ass setting it up. So we'll do it.
Right.
And we'll try and get 4 of them. The thing is, we need somebody to kind of honcho that. I don't know if it's one of our, one of the guys on the staff or one of you guys. What do you think?
I like that idea. I like us having a little bit more of a pool or an understanding that we're going to, I mean, these won't be our refs, but we're going to take charge of making sure that we.
No, but in general, we're
putting more refs out there.
The refs are going to end up out there,
Yeah, and then we can identify out of that group too. Some of the better ones.
Well, clubs can do that.
Yeah,
but we're not. And we want to make it. We want to set it up. So we want the impetus to set it up, and we'll put the bond up.
Right, and that way we know we're getting more refs out there. We're putting some.
But we need to put somebody's name on this to set that up, because this needs to start right after all the play ends, probably in whenever all these cups end. When the referees, when we got some time to get these courses, maybe.
Well, it's really summer. I mean, to be honest with you.
Yeah, March. I'd say March, April. We still got the kids at the field.
Well, let me. Stephen, we talked about this actually quite a bit before the meeting.
Yeah. Okay.
As far as USA sponsoring entry-level classes.
Right.
In, at least 4 or 5 different locations.
Right.
There's, believe it or not, February and March is not a bad time.
Oh, okay.
Only because when you start getting into May and June, then you got all the cups going on, and you got and all the instructors for Florida soccer.
Okay.
They're out of there.
Well, I thought even during this February for sure, you got all these commission cups. Isn't it?
Well, they're just now starting, but those are the lower end. But but they're so anyway. There's never a real good time.
Well, there's never a great time, right? Exactly. Because
actually,
we shoot for March and April.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's not gonna. Not everybody's gonna be involved in.
I look at the calendars real close, and the second part, as far as ownership, I think we need to ask our assigners, which in most cases are the district referee administrators already,
right?
And they would set up the classes.
Well, I think what Kai's point was, I think, is that, not to say you merit because you're a ref or you're in FSR and everything, but I mean, this is your project. I'm not saying this is your project, so you're following it. If Greg's going to do something for you or anything else, but you're the guy that's pushing this through, so it doesn't just get left out there as a good idea tonight. I think that's
so the go-to person. So maybe
it's difficult for us. I mean, we're all busy. But in this case, to get something like this through, somebody needs to be the person that's at least aware of it and getting somebody moving somewhere.
The lead contact. Yeah.
Yes, and contacting the son. Greg's a big help and he's available, but somebody's got to be helping, kind of, over him to say, hey, right here, we'll go. Greg says, I got this.
So maybe the referee assigners can set it up in the areas, like you said, because you want to do it in different areas.
Someone's got to talk to them, push them, say, hey, by Tuesday, I need that room.
Right, and how's this set? Right. Yeah, and then make sure that all the different places are running the way it should be run.
Right.
Yeah, okay, all right. So a facilitator, you need like a facilitator.
Yeah, to make sure all the PERT, the chart, boom, this got to happen.
Yeah. I'm not, we're not setting up all the classes, but we're making sure they are getting set up in that regard.
Or you're setting them up if no one's there to set up.
If no one's there to set it up,
we'll find
Well, I
out.
like Merritt's idea in the sense that, you know, you have your assigners out there
But
and they
who's
kind
gonna
of
do
best
that?
know.
Who in our board would take that responsibility to get this referee thing, that part of it, off and running? Now,
Right.
Jerry and Greg will help. They're on the staff to do that. You can be in touch with them as a board member saying, here, how about this guy? Have you got to him? You know, but somebody needs to be responsible for it.
Right.
Any takers?
You know, to be honest with you, I mean,
I get you. I mean, and none of us really need it, but you know, I'll start thinking about it. If nobody tomorrow, start thinking about it and see if I get Greg and Sherry. We'll start going. You know, we'll start something because we've got. Otherwise, this doesn't get done, and this doesn't get done every year so far. We've got to start making sure this gets done, because otherwise we ain't going to have any. I mean, the referees already are thinning out, the ARs particularly. I will come up with a fee structure. So right now, tentatively, I'll start that. Okay, that's on me. Super Y League. I got Mike. I got something from them today. You guys may not know this, but there is a good possibility from USL that they're going to try to expand the Super Y League. And their thought to us is, why wouldn't you guys put together, because it's not at the same time as our FYSA USA schedule, why couldn't you put together some composite teams, both probably maybe age group specific and geographic, like maybe down by Mark 1 Central somewhere, maybe someone up north, however we want to structure it. But I guess they want more play geographically. They want to get more density in the play because the travel now is apparently crazy. And they're interested in expanding, and they came to some of our members saying, Mike.
So they want to have more like regional play, you know, with more teams.
With more teams, you know, you're not traveling to Miami every single weekend.
Right.
Just every other week.
Well, very possibly, but that's got to be part when someone tries out.
Yeah.
The point of this is the positive things. One, it's at a time frame that a lot of our clubs and kids aren't doing anything. So it gives them something to do. Number two is we've always been bitching and moaning about the team holding tryouts and sucking some of our kids away because they got this Super Y League to play in.
Right.
So we just got to figure out how. And I am asking you guys if I don't know if a lawyer is proper or somebody in FYSA like a Tommy Thompson, someone that really understands the rules. I want to make sure that, and I've talked to the USL and they're giving me some guidance, but I don't know if USA, we're an affiliate and we're a league. We're not a club. I don't know if I don't want to create any problems in our affiliation or anything else. I don't think we will, because a lot of the affiliates already are playing in Super Y League, I believe.
Yeah, they are.
At least 4 or 5 of FYSA affiliates playing in Super Y League. However, I don't want to get in any trouble, so I want to look over everybody's bylaws and make sure that whatever playing entity we have works for the Super Y League and is legal otherwise. We've got a couple ways to go.
But are you talking about us taking control of putting teams together for this league, or just getting it out?
Yeah, some
so
entity,
we would almost run like an all-star.
It's the same thing, yes. It's just what we talked about, putting composite teams, but now we have a league to put them in instead of
so this is USA-sponsored team coached by one of our USA coaches.
Or USA members, because it's
members,
it may not be allowed, USA may not be allowed, but their members can. And we do have other corporate entities, 501c3s, in the area already empty that can be a club, that can be that entity.
So, I mean, their uniform would be a special USA type uniform?
Or something, you know,
something like what, I don't know exactly, but something like that,
But we could offer our kids, at least now, for your club, for our clubs, you got something for them. And Steve, they get returned.
Right, okay.
That's the idea is they get.
Yeah. We
They
buy
go back.
a set,
They
like,
don't-
just like we do in
yeah.
high school. Just like we do in high school. We buy the set of uniforms and everything. They play in them and they return them.
What I'm saying, the kids get returned to the clubs.
Oh, right. Oh, I thought you were talking about uniforms.
It's not a recruit. This, in other words, we would think would be a very positive thing because it's not going to be a recruiting tool for us, USA or anybody. So the clubs now have some reason to keep their kids active and realize the kids are coming back to their club as soon as this.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're not trying to recruit any of those children to these teams because these teams don't exist.
Well, you put them in. Well, you put it in the contract that they will not be allowed.
Yeah, and we just will know whatever entity it is. I need permission from you guys to examine. I may have to pay somebody something to take a good look at this, and I want everybody's permission to start doing this to find out the best way to do it. I'll talk to Dave and a couple of guys who use FYSA, and then I'm already in touch with the USL people and see exactly what we need. But I think for our kids, it's a great opportunity to play and of little risk to our members as far as.
I like the idea. I've always liked the idea. We've had, because Greg and I, we were involved in that FASL, which was kind of
it was good.
A similar idea, but
But this is a real structured thing. These guys are running the league, Steve, and so it's
right. But this is sponsored from, or at least organized by an entity that's not related to just one club, so it can be trusted a little bit more, I think, by the
we know the
other clubs that we're not just coaching your players. Yeah.
And even to the point where maybe they can apply to USA for grants or something. I obviously can't fund it, but
whatever.
Maybe there's some way we can facilitate it. We just got to come up. I think it's all males, is it not, Mike?
Yeah. No, I think they got girls as well.
Okay. Really?
Okay.
Super Wise reached out to us at Braden River, and we're going to put several teams into it.
Okay, so you don't need this then. But I'm saying,
I'm really I'm sure they've reached out to some other clubs as well.
Very good, but we can probably put together
better teams.
And then
but you got a good pool to pull from in Braden River down there,
you could have 4 or 5 clubs.
But we could take 4 or 5 clubs in the St. Pete area and put the best team together from PCU.
Be a very good team.
St. Pete Raiders,
is that the idea? I'm just surprised they reached out to the league and individual clubs.
Well, the point I think
they're struggling for the last couple of years because the league used to be big, and then there was a big decline. And last year they struggled for teams, so they're reaching out to everybody and their mother to get this thing going.
It may not be any good. I mean, this may not be a good idea for anybody. But
the difficulty that they have is the travel. Right. And during the summer, you don't have a pool of players big enough in an age group in a club that you can
one specific club, right?
You can rely on a group of kids traveling to Miami because you really need a large pool of players to be able to play in the Super Wide League.
Well,
and you play Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, but see, you could always do that. You could always be a coach that put together a Super Wide team, because you held tryouts separate from FYSA.
Yeah, but in the past, you had to be invited in.
Say again?
Well, in the past, you had to be invited in, and now they're stretching out. Now they realize everybody should. It was kind of a couple clubs because they used it as a recruiting tool.
That the Super Wide League used to be what the NPFL is, and now stuff. But I mean, when I coached in it about 8 years ago, we had a roster of 30 players to get through the season.
Yeah.
And the worst part of it was we drove to Miami and both games got rained out.
No, I mean, that's all.
You gotta remember that. Yeah.
Well, and I think that's one of the reasons why these regional teams, it allows for more games to be played in
within a reasonable travel
time.
Yeah.
Right.
What ages?
I was just
we got to come up with that. What sex and what ages? Do we go male, female? Do we try? But I think you start with just a couple ages. And what is it, 15, 16, 17, 18?
No, they go down too early. They go 12. They go 10, 11, 12.
Oh, they do. They go down that far, huh?
See, and that's why, and like, for example, we have a lot of younger teams here, like in Bartow, Polk County, Winter Haven, Auburndale.
Right.
And so that's why I was wondering what the young, how young they go.
Yeah, I mean, we could do double age group 12, 14, 16. We could.
They're going all the way to 98s because we're having our tryouts for 98s at the end of January.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Mark, it doesn't matter. These guys playing Super Y, they're still on your team because there's no.
But I think that if we can have a USA All-Star team, that'd be awesome.
It'd probably be.
Well, that's kind of like what I was talking about.
Yeah,
that's kind of like what I was referring to.
That's the idea, is to have these regional USA All-Stars.
Because you have this small, and like I said, Braden River, you're a pretty big club. You have a little bit more of a pool, but like, if Tampa area, like, there's a lot of smaller clubs that maybe can't put one team together, but you pull 3 or 4 of those clubs together that are USA sponsored.
There's 2 or 3 kids in a team that are good.
And you take 2 or 3 or 4 kids from each one of those clubs, to play on a team. I think that's a good idea.
I think
at the end of the day, think about it. Isn't soccer all about like getting to know other players and other teams?
Absolutely.
That way is much more.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's not to be protected. We're not overly protective. Our clubs aren't. I mean, we're constantly getting people are coming in. So this for us is all we need tonight is the permission to go ahead and do this and expend a moderate amount of money if we have to, check and making sure that we have all our ducks in a row. Because a club, it's easy, no problem. We're a league, so there may not be. I don't know if the USL matters, but it may matter for FYS. I don't want to lose our.
Well, as long as we don't lose our affiliation and things like that and stuff, then let's go with investigating it.
None of the other clubs lose affiliation. But Mark's club is not going to lose their affiliation because they put some kids in a US. Right.
But keep in mind too, we're going to have to find the coaches for these teams. And
yes, absolutely.
So there's going to be some work on our end.
We start small, Steve. We start with 2 or 3 and maybe 2 areas. Mike's thing is just start small and see how it works.
Right.
I think we have to act real quickly because if we've got approached, other clubs have got approached. If my son had a choice of playing for USA and meeting all these players or just staying with his Braden River friends, I'd rather go up there to USA.
Well, that's what I was just going to say too. I was going to say, anybody that has a team is still welcome.
We need this discussion first, Mark, to make sure from our board of directors that we are okay with it, and we can.
Well, I'm on board with it. Yeah, I'm good with it.
And I can email everybody. I got you all on a list. So I mean, everything we do, Mike, myself, anybody will be emailing you now, saying, "Here's what they're talking about. Here's what you think." I don't like the idea. We don't have to be in this format, but tonight we needed permission to do this because it's not. I can't go do it.
I think this goes back to when we talked about getting USA one step higher.
Yeah.
No, I think this is something. This league may not work well, but it may be the beginning of something fun. I don't know.
I'd say if you take an all-star team from our age group, the 19s, they could beat a lot of teams. You take an all-star group, they could beat a
lot of good players, and that's what we want to feature the kids. The kids from some of these clubs where there's not huge amounts of money, and the one kid, and maybe we can help that in some way.
Absolutely.
And on Mark's point, look, I think that the pride and the honor of playing with fellow players from is big time. I mean, that's really what we are trying to get these kids to see from a younger age group, is that you play for your club with the ambition to play with other good players in a team to go do something, but you're always going to come back to your club.
Oh, it's like you go back to your national league, your national team. You go out and you play in all your private organizations or whatever it is here or overseas, and then you come back and play for the national team.
Format is very, it's the whole world over, and when we go step in it. So I'll keep pursuing this. I did get something from him today. I'll start answering, and if I need funds, I'm going to use them. I'll ask, but I mean, I want to make sure I got somebody that knows bylaws and all that stuff well, and I want them to take the FYSARs, and I want to go in there and say, what, in your opinion, are legally our restrictions, because we don't want to get sideways with anybody. That's not our point. The point is to help.
I say you go ahead, and I don't know if we have to vote on it or make a motion or anything, but I mean, I if we do,
Well, is there
make a
anybody
motion, we
opposed?
move forward with it. Yeah.
I mean, we're just talking now, so I'll know.
Well, at least just to investigate, at this point.
Yes. Well, no, I'm gonna start pursuing it. We'll have some more structure, just like this other thing. Here are tryouts. Here's the age groups. Here's the thing. Let's start with that. Bob. What do you think? And you'll see 17's not good, 19's good.
Keep in mind, other clubs have probably invited just as we are. So we want to get the better players. We don't want to wait and then get.
No,
let's go forward.
We need to move quickly. We need to move quickly.
Yeah. Let's go forward with it, as long as it's
even in your situation, Mark. It doesn't mean that some of your players wouldn't be open to wanting to play with
Oh, I think they would. An all-star. Look, this is America. It's all about all-star teams.
Yeah, exactly.
No other country has all-star teams.
It doesn't stop your team from putting together composite things from down there, Mark, and all the,
Yeah.
We're looking to get more play. If you enter a team and we got a team, that's great. And we got two teams. We know we're going down to Braden River to play.
But we'd rather have the best USA all-star team we can have.
If you can, but you got a longer distance. We got all of those things to do. I think we limit it to 2 or 3 teams or 4 teams, and boom, take a look at how it works.
Looking at their website, they had a Sarasota FC.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I've never heard of them as a.
That's Kai Huskovy. He's always had a team under the Sarasota team.
No, it's Graham. It's Graham Seuss.
But is he in the Super Y, Mike?
Yes,
they put together a Super White team every year just to go to it, and some of our players at Rangers went down there and played for it. But
and 3/4 of the team is Braden River.
Yeah, and the trouble with it is that they could never get enough players. He would be, Kai would be scrambling for players to fill a team to play because players are not available.
I think this is the same issue, Mike and Mark, that we need to get to the people in every one of our parks and let them know, here's what we're doing. Go to your kids. And that's the biggest problem we have is we'll come up with an idea, but now we got to push through and get to these guys and say, here's the 3 things we're starting to do. We're starting to stretch out a little bit, and here's what we're going to do. Yeah. Send a kid because there's been no damage to him. We'll tell him how much, what the deal is when they get there. We're not going to surprise anybody, and we'll try and have it at fields that are members fields that will let us use them, who are centrally located.
Centrally located, yeah.
All right, so I'll continue to pursue that, and we'll have something solid in right away. We'll just start working on it and see.
And let's just keep moving forward with it.
Yes,
as far as I'm concerned.
This 11 and 12 thing, another issue we're going to have. If USYSA and FYSA, and I don't know how much continue to pursue the idea that you're not going to play and keep track of the scores and stuff like that, will completely, it won't take long, will completely demolish the league because people don't, we can't have 40 teams in a U11 league and rate them even. We'd have horrible mismatches because we don't have any way of judging who's good and who's not because we ain't keeping score. So our whole premise is really built on keeping score because that's how we're going to set up a first, second, third division. And that's
but FYSA demands that as well because you're supposed to rank them for their President's Cup, Commissioner's Cup, or
yes, but they're not going to have it in 12s anymore. That's a very for last year to worry about it. So
then how are they going to handle their President's Cup levels?
FYSA,
they won't have it for that age group.
This is very, and in fact, and again, Greg and I are talking today. FYSA sends out mandates, all these mandates. They haven't got a clue as to how they actually are going to make it work. So they come to us and say, here's what you got to do. All kids with teeth have to play on the right side of the field, and that's all. They don't tell you how it's going to happen. They have no idea how to implement any of these bad ideas. As we know, we learned last year, they haven't got a clue how to implement them. And in the implementation, that's the problem for us. So, one, it's misguided. There isn't we can't find another youth sport in America in that age group that doesn't keep score. No one can tell me. I mean, swimming, gymnastics. I talked to Pee Wee football yesterday, day before. Little League baseball, softball. All of them I know and have talked to guys in every one of those leagues keep score. And they're 9, 10, 11, and 12-year-olds. They keep score of the game. So there's not another sport in America, youth sport in America, that I can think of that's played where no one keeps score. It's a name for our sport to abandon anything. Now, in point of fact, I think the large businesses, youth soccer businesses, and maybe these academies will find a way around this. They're going to end up with all of the community soccer's kids because they're going to say, what are you playing there for? You might as well, in this 11s, 12s, 9s, and 10s, go down and, like I said, choose up sides every Saturday and just play. Why have uniforms, practices, any of that stuff? So, first of all, we got to see how serious it's going to be implemented and whether, because, last time it was implemented, USA voted against it, and we continued to keep score and do all the stuff, and there was no ramifications. I don't know if there will be this time. A. B, if there is, we're going to have to look for some alternative for our members to see if they're interested in something else. I don't know what. I don't even have an idea, but this 11 and 12 means 9, 10, 11, and 12, you will not have a league in very quickly, a couple of years.
Well, I don't think there is a way around it because it's across the board. I mean, that's the state of Georgia does this already, statewide. I think U.S. Club Soccer would even have to abide by the rules of the federation.
But Kai, let's
this is coming down. This is coming down from the federation, right?
Yeah, that's fine, Kai, and even at that level, no one says that you got to do anything like that. In other words, I say, look, we're going to start there's going to be a league out there where they're going to keep score, and we're going to have a schedule, and we're going to give you a schedule, and it's just an option to have. You can get insurance. I'm not saying you do that.
Well, wouldn't FISA threaten to pull our affiliation if they find out?
Absolutely.
Well, it's not. It wouldn't be us. That's my point. It can't be USA because we don't have that. But the members of USA certainly are going to need some guidance. Somebody's got to look into this. You can't just not. Kai, we got to be. It's crazy not to keep score for the first until a kid's 13. Think about it.
I mean, I know it's just that. I mean, I just don't know what the other options are if it's coming down from the federation and everybody has to abide by it.
Yeah, that's the stuff I want to find out.
We all know that the stuff came down from the federation. The CDL doesn't follow anything, so.
Well, that's my Kai. That's my other point is.
Well, you don't actually. The thing is, you don't actually have to implement anything until 2000, this upcoming new season.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So, what are you going to say to all of the people from Wesley Chapel to Hernando to West, West Pasco, your club? What are you now going to do? You're going to play in house?
Yep. They're going to turn into academies.
Yeah, I mean, you're playing games without. I mean, the parents and the coaches and the players will always keep score.
But Kai, that's good in house, right? You can do that in house, and you can't do that with 40 with the kind of numbers we have. You don't have any way of even saying unless you have your rated.
Couldn't scores be reported to us, but they are not posted just for our seeding purposes?
Yeah, Kai, that's what I'm talking about. Isn't there some?
I mean, as long as we're not posting them and keeping standings.
Because we've got to rate a team at 11.
Well, that's a good point. Can we keep score?
Can the referee at least keep the score reported to us? In-house, yeah.
I mean, that's what we do for the 9s and 10s.
Right. Just for seeding purposes only. You know, it's not for.
Then we should make it more formal for the 9s and 10s also, because it is murder.
Well,
like
you
I
might
said,
as well.
11s and 12s. Like the 12s going to 13. How do you know? who's any good and who's not.
Because that's what we kind of did up here at West Pasco, because we have an end of the year, like, for lack of a better term, tournament, but we don't keep scoring U8s and really even in U10s that much, but to where we post them in a standings or anything. But we know what they are. The referees just tell us what. And so when we have our little end of the year in-house recreational tournament, we know how to kind of seed it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Just based on what teams were what.
Okay,
So it
that's what you're
balances
saying
out.
for seeding.
But there's no reported score anywhere or anything. It's just the referee gives it to our person, so we at least can keep track of the good teams and the teams that are not so good. That was what I was kind of trying to get at.
So we need, for 11s and 12s, we need to investigate exactly.
If we could do that. Well, that would be.
What we're going to suggest to our members is how we're going to do it, because they're going to be wondering, how are you guys going to do this? To say, well, here's what we're going to do. We're
in-house going to keep scores.
We're going to keep score of the game. It's
so that
reported to us, and
right.
we will then the next season be able.
And then when we get to the next season's meeting, and we have a coach saying, I don't know how good your team is,
without keeping
you could say, well, we saw you beating all these teams. You don't even have to tell them what the score was. We just see we had you all beating these teams. So. How are you going to tell us that you're a good team or a bad team or whatever?
But I don't, for the life of me, I don't, there is not another youth sport in America that does this. Who is the moron that made this up? Kai, what's the purpose of this?
I mean,
no, I'm not putting you on the spot.
I guess it's, in their perfect world, it's to enhance player development. So if there's no score, there's no first place or second place trophy.
They're just going to only focus on development.
That player development is the number one focus, and not winning, because you can't win. Because there's no even in tournaments. I'm wondering how this will affect tournament play, because why would I pay $450, $500 if there's no more semifinal, final, and something to win at the end, because you can't keep score?
Going to kill tournaments. That's what it's going to do.
Well,
that goes exactly into the festival that 9s and 10s.
Right.
I ended up having to open it up to rec teams because the teams wouldn't come, because why would I go to your festival when I can go to a tournament and I can be the winner?
Right. And Marcus, I agree. I think the thought, but the answer isn't taking the score out. The answer is better having guys like Kai and Mike and Mark at these clubs, and yourself, who have some vision as to how you want some player development. You don't care. It's not all W's where you're going to kick the ball long. So it was up to us collectively as the teachers of the game in America to do this. Somebody decided at the top, well, here's how we'll do it. We'll just take the score. I think if you think about it in the American idiom, you're just going to get less people. We're not going to discourage more people from playing, because soccer's great, but it's
not. Unfortunately, in America, it's not going.
It's a bunch of socialists, so when they don't keep score,
it's not going to change the way we do things. We're still going to play to win. We're still going to play to win.
Right, but with no one keeping score, Steve, who knows who won? I remember when I had little girls.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is,
girls, they said who won the match. We'd be playing boys teams, and we'd be down by 12 goals or something.
But I want to say they're trying to follow the European type model, where you don't have even players playing in competitions until they're U14, U15 years old. They're all just in academies and training. That's what they're trying to accomplish here.
Every kid in Europe brings the ball to school and plays it.
But that was their culture growing up. Okay,
right.
We're trying to.
Lunchtime, they're playing all.
Correct.
And in those games, they're keeping score.
We're trying to take a model in America where it's competitive, win, win.
Kids don't.
But look, it's the American football. Same 10-year-old kids are playing the same rules.
Yeah.
They got winners and losers, and so nobody's saying. Well,
I'm not saying I agree or disagree with it. I'm just saying that that's our style.
I haven't found a youth sport yet, Mike, where they don't have competition and keep score.
Well, my problem is that on this, when they do this, is that yes, you say, okay, we're going to do training, or we're going to do an academy for the younger ones, but these smaller clubs like Bartow, myself, that only has 7 competitive teams, I have an 11U boy myself, you're basically by yourself. So it's, you don't really, unless you're just going to sit there and train and not do anything, you really can't have an academy when you only have one team of those little kids.
Right, but they're going to want you to train in academy style.
Right. Well, I understand
that one team.
But Marcus, I think there's another more nefarious point to this what they really want is your kids going to Lakeland.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you get it? I mean, you can have a large in-house, the big businesses and the academy programs, they'll be fine because they'll have combat. They'll be playing. There'll be plenty of competition. And they'll say to the kids, as I would, why would you play over there? You don't even keep scoring. No one knows what's going on. Why don't you come over here? We got better coaches. It's $4,000 a year. But don't worry about that. We keep score. You're going to know there's a lot of competition in the academy. Very good for you. And I think this leaves all of the community clubs without 9s, 10s, 11s, and 12s. You ain't got much, buddy. It won't be long before there's no community soccer clubs whatsoever because the kids aren't going to come back at 13. It's not going to happen.
No, yeah.
This will gut. This will gut.
We're just going to find a way to solve the issue with in-house.
Yes, yes. Well, that's why I'm bringing it up tonight, though, Mike. Is we got to start thinking now outside the box as to how to do it. And Kai, one of the answers is for all of our clubs, not USA, to step outside of USA. USA is only an ability to communicate with one another.
Mm-hmm.
You step outside of USA, you can play. You and I can form a league. We don't have to be affiliated. West Chase here is not affiliated. They have an in-house program, and it's wonderful. And they're not affiliated with AYSO, FYSA, anything, nothing. And they have.
So you're saying we're going to get these rogue leagues forming?
Not rogue. I mean, it's not. Well, what rogue? I mean, you say, look, here are the members. Here are the. Bartow is a member of CTM. Do you want to play 9, 10, 11, 12s in a league? And you say, yeah. You say it won't be affiliated. You can't be affiliated.
But it's not an affiliated club, is what I'm saying. It's not affiliated.
It's not affiliated with FYSA or US.
So they're kind of going off the beaten path.
Except I'm not saying to do this, Steve, but that might be thinking outside the box. That is a way to play again.
Yeah, but I would still think that would put their FYSA, knowing they're kind of doing something like that, and if it's discovered, would put their.
People do that. Look at FYSA affiliated clubs. The USA ain't going to do it. But this is a format for us to talk. I've been talking to those guys before, and I'm going to mention this and say, look, we don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to have to find some format. They aren't the only people in America playing soccer. I mean, you got city leagues and all this other stuff. There's no affiliation. If the sport is going to refuse to Americanize the game, and I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but I know what works and doesn't work. It doesn't work to have 4 years of kids not playing and keeping score and thinking that they're going to continue on.
Right.
With your club, there'll be other people that will be able to do this. And they'll be able to figure out a way to do it without ruffling any feathers.
Yeah, the only thing about that, though, is if you jump out of the FYSA affiliation, is season play, Region Cup, State Cup, and all that kind of stuff.
There isn't going to be none for those ages.
No Region Cup, no commission.
No, how could there be a Region Cup? They can't keep score.
They will do it. Believe me, they'll do it because it's $800 a team.
They'll just create it festival style for those ages.
Yeah, but Dave DiPilio told me we were talking about these 12s, and he said this is the last year we got to worry about this, Paul, about how to set them apart. So they already know, there ain't going to be anything local organized that they believe will have any. Think about it. Why will anybody pay $700 and not have a?
Well,
they have
they're not.
The 12s are done. In other words, 11s, 12s will have none of this tiered type of thing like we've seen in the past. That's done. It's over.
Yeah, you're right.
So there's AAU. We all go to AAU.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yes, Kai, that's what I'm talking about. Is something. Nature abhors a vacuum, Kai, and I'm not USA. Now we're just bullshit tonight. Somebody somewhere was going to find a way to have a league that is going to keep score and have some rules and regulations, insurance, all that stuff.
That really doesn't have anything to do with FYSA or any kind of
they'll come back to
federation affiliation of any kind. They're just this startup, this like the I-9 or the YMCA or
the clubs. The clubs themselves have the leases, like in Hillsborough County. The clubs have the leases. The county does not. If you go to the county and say, well, we don't have in this age group and in the young age groups, here's the league you play in. They say, well, it's an FYSA. Well, say FYSA doesn't keep score or anything else. They don't have 9s and 10s anymore.
Right.
They don't have, competitive. We have FYSA, a 13 we play, and we play all of our rec kids are in FYSA.
Right.
But this group is not an FYSA. No one's going to take, everyone's lease is going to stay the same. Nothing's, the places that play, the entities that play will still have venue. They'll just, those four age groups will not be inside of anything we currently know as a, I think it's crazy. I mean, I think the whole idea is crazy, but you cannot look at our league and say we could try it. I mean, I'm not saying we won't, but we got to think of something, because you can't possibly put 40 teams in and just draw them out of the hat. It's not people get.
We'll have to find out as we come a little bit closer.
The next thing is, Steve. The next thing is when it's 6-0, you got to take. You got to put 9 kids. Well, it shouldn't be 6-0. We shouldn't have that kind of disconnect in our league. We should have taken care of that on the first day when we were settling that. We do have some mistakes, but we shouldn't have you're gonna have a tremendous amount of these lopsided matches,
right,
which are not fun for anybody. The kids that are in them on the winning side don't learn anything. They're not being stressed, and the kids in the losing team certainly aren't learning anything watching the other team pass the ball around.
Right.
So it's
I don't think we're going to be able to solve that tonight, but I mean, at least
I'm just opening up tonight because it's coming fast. It's coming in a couple months.
Even if we just have to do things behind the scenes, not illegally, but
we got to
just
start.
for
No, it's not illegal. I'm saying we got to start checking it out. Every one of us has to start thinking also for solutions and starting to talk to people in these organizations and say, how do you think this is going to play out?
And we'll come back.
So, all right.
Okay.
All right. The referee situation, Venice referee issue. I don't know what that is. We don't have refs down here, correct?
Yes, basically. And I just got another email from one of the coaches saying that, what are we going to do about it this weekend? He claims he hasn't had refs his last 3 games.
Yeah, that's the guy that's a dentist, right? Or
yes.
DDN. Okay. Now, all right. First of all, Venice has had, I believe, someone just told me they had the 3rd president this year. Am I correct? Okay, so that's a problem. So we've got an unorganized, we've got a club basically that's unmoored, right?
I'm sorry, the club that's what? I didn't hear you.
Unmoored, I mean, just doesn't have any leadership. If there's 3 presidents, there's no referees. How many, the first question is, which we got to know by tomorrow, how many teams do they have in our league? And we got to try and get to their president and say we got a problem. Part of why you're allowed to play in the league is you said you had enough referees to cover this. We're finding out you don't. So we're going to you're either going to get referees, we're going to find a temporary solution, but you ain't going to be in the league next year unless something changes.
They have 17 teams.
How could they possibly have 17 teams and not have any organization whatsoever?
I don't know. Now, Annette says a lot of it has to, and I've actually got 2 complaints today. Something about that there's an issue with the referees have taken the test, they've passed, and FYSA is holding up uploading that information into Got Soccer. So then the assigner can't access those referees through Got Soccer.
Who knows about that, Merritt?
I'm sorry, what
All
was,
right, does that make any sense to you two?
what's that?
Tell them again, Cher.
I got 2 complaints in the last couple of days that FSR, like the referees have taken the test, passed the test. The information has been submitted to FYSA for whatever they do with it to get those referees into Got Soccer, and they're the holdup. So therefore, the assigners can't access the refs through Got Soccer.
Correct. FSR does not put the referees into Got Soccer. So there was a bunch of situations. They changed their software this past year. Florida State referees did, and they had to upload all the referees at least a couple of times just to US Soccer just to get them registered. And we had people showing up for tournaments in January, and they weren't showing up in Got Soccer. So it's a real issue this year, especially here in Florida. But if FYSA has got to get them into Got Soccer, then because of the background check, that's what the big deal is.
So like according to Annette, she's just manually assigning refs. So, if you look at the game, you're not going to see them on the game card because they're not in Got Soccer. She claims she has referees, but then the coach is saying, there haven't been. So I really don't know what's accurate.
Are they just not showing up?
Well, if it's the underage groups, the local, actually all our clubs and associations assign their own assistant referee. We only assign the referee.
He's saying like he hasn't had centers either.
Well, that's an issue.
He's 11. I think he's got an 11 team. Am I correct?
I think so. Yes.
So, well, that's with the net then.
I know, and she's saying yes, there are refs, but I don't know. Like I don't know who to believe. He's, why would he make that up that he hasn't had refs? And also,
is she assigning them and then they're just not showing up and she doesn't realize that?
Well, and if he's got one game without refs, is it one game? Is it he's every game? Well, it might not be every. You know how that works.
Well, I have also Melissa Jara is down at Venice now, and she's
okay. So what'd she say?
She's telling me the same that her words, the refs situation has sucked, and that there haven't been referees. That they've been having to grab club refs or parents, etc.
But centers we're talking about, not ARs.
Right. Well, and in that club, Annette assigns both. She does the assistants also.
Well, I think for tonight, right, Sheriff, for tonight, my suggestion is we get back to Annette and tell Annette we hear one more person complain about it. We're going to have to try and make some changes down here somehow.
Well, we'll have to be investigating a lot further and deeper into it.
Melissa is a great. I mean, resource, I trust her opinion. We need to ride her and say, you're down the fields. Can you tell me this weekend what's going on?
How many games are not?
Game for game.
Yeah.
If possible, Sherry. Because Melissa's rational. I mean, you can believe. She said they're not showing up. Her, I believe.
Right, exactly.
So if you can get back and try, I know this is complicated, but if you can get back and try and get to Melissa and say, Melissa, you got to help us out here.
Okay.
Can you monitor the situation for us and tell Annette in no uncertain terms, you either got to solve it or come up with a solution or something, because we can't have this. We just can't have it. There's 17 teams. It's too much play. Now, is it 17? How many are playing right now? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Maybe 6, 7?
Yeah.
We'll figure that out tomorrow, but it can't be 17 teams playing right now. It's got to be spread over. But they probably don't have a whole lot of older teams. But with 17 teams, that's a lot of kids playing soccer.
A lot of kids. That's a lot of games.
It doesn't matter. I'm just asking. In other words, are we looking at 10 games here or 5 games a weekend?
Walk on.
But this is I don't know. We can't. What are you going to do? Does anybody have an idea?
They have 11 junior teams, and then the rest are senior.
All right. Kai, Steve, you guys got any? Mike?
No, I mean, as far as this situation, I just think you're right. I think we need to let the club know, or the people that are complaining, that we're going to investigate and we're going to look into this further and have it monitored over the next couple of weeks. And like you said, put it out to Annette that obviously something's happening, and we're getting people saying that the referee's not showing up, and there's no reason why they would lie about that. So, please find the solution to this problem, or we're going to have to step in and do something. So, I mean, yeah.
And her response is that the club isn't providing any refs, a list to her, anything. Because I already kind of told her what's going on.
Yeah.
She keeps coming back with that response.
Which club? All the clubs, or just Venice?
No, Venice.
Club.
Well, ask Melissa also, Sherry, if you can. You know her pretty well. I mean, she's a pretty good egg. And
Yeah, I know Melissa.
she didn't want to be on a board anymore. She's pissed at us. But I mean, now she's seen.
No, but she.
I don't think she's
texts
upset
me
with
all
us
the
anymore.
time. Yeah, I know her.
Well. That's what I'm saying. I think she got over that. But I mean, can't make everybody happy.
Yeah, let's use Melissa as a little bit of a little spy down there or whatever. Let's see. Let's see what's actually really going on.
In the morning and ask her to.
Yeah. I don't want her undercutting the net. You don't know what the dynamics is, and I don't want to. If Annette's really the cause of it, or it's Venice. Also, if Melissa or can get us the email or name or phone number of a president, and we're gonna talk to them and say, hey, I understand you just took over and it's a mess. Why no refs? Do you have a list? Are you not providing it? We got to come up with something. And I don't know. I mean, look, someone else. I don't know. I stumble through. Let's figure out what's going on, because we can't have another season where we were going through this. I don't think. That didn't seem to be a problem in the senior season. I didn't hear anything from that.
Right. It definitely seems to be the junior season.
That's because they have a lot more. Obviously, they have a lot more junior teams than they do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with 17 teams, as a club worth saving. We got 2 teams. You say, well, what can we do?
Yeah. 17
teams. That's a lot of kids. That's a lot of play. They're organized. You just don't want to lose them because they're having a kerfuffle.
Right. Well, let's let Melissa take an eye on things.
I'll
Sherry,
get
this weekend and next.
Yeah. Will you kind of manage that, Sherry, and just let us know as best we can?
All right.
I know the guys complain and say we're doing everything we can, but we've got some problems down there. And if you really have a problem, you got to look at other clubs.
Can you hear me? This is Charlie.
Right. Tryouts. Everybody knows the issue with tryouts. Like Kai said, we're going to see something soon, but if we don't, we're going to have to get out to our members and explain to them, hey, tryouts are going to start April 1st. So everybody needs to know about that. And Kai, I think, didn't you ask them about, can I have a tryout then every weekend?
As of right now, you can have a tryout from
every
now
day.
to every day. It's all the rules do not apply. There is coaching. It's just a Wild West. The rules do not apply because they were not matched up with the new date.
Yep. And you can talk to players, right? I mean, you can.
Except for a coach can still not, even though tryouts are April 1st, a coach cannot move to another club until May 1st. So.
Okay.
If you're a coach, you're still stuck.
Till when?
May 1st is a date that coaches can.
Okay, but if I'm playing another team,
and you don't know who your coach is going to be.
Yeah, right.
Right now you can play in the Final Four of Commissioner's Cup and President's Cup or Bean State Cup, and your players can legally try out during that time with another team.
Okay, right. But can I, as a coach, if I'm at a state cut game and I see a player on another team,
You can talk to that player.
can I talk to that player
As long as you have an advertised tryout, you can talk to that player.
and say, come to my tryout?
They didn't change any of the other rules and bylaws to match up with the new date.
You can talk.
Okay. So we can, if we have a set April 15th, well, whenever state cup is, April 15th tryout date, and I'm at a game on April 10th, I can go over to that person and say, hey, we're having tryouts on April 15th. Why don't you come to our tryout?
According to the rules as they are right now with everything, yes. And the guy did say that in the email that everything I was putting in question was true.
State Cup or whatever.
Okay. So you, for lack of a better term, poaching rules do not exist as long as you have
Basically, there's no poaching, Steve.
There's no poaching.
And the thing is that a player can join a club 3-4 different times during that process, because before August 1st, you can change your mind.
And you could put an advertised tryout dates from April 1st to May 31st.
You could.
Yeah.
Because every day is a tryout.
But I think we continue to pursue this idea. I think Kai's probably the best guy to but at some point we got to make it easier for our members, because nobody knows. Kai's the only one I know that even understands. Never mind.
Well, I'm hoping that FYSA will clear this up a little bit. I mean,
but if not, Kai, we should have something solid on our website describing what can happen and what what you can do to counter it, or what you can do.
Yeah.
I think it's our job as part of being the league to clarify for all of our members, because they're not going to be tuned into it, as to what's going on.
I don't know if they're
I
competitive.
mean, I think we should wait for this, but after that, we should go through it in more detail and get it onto our website and say, here it is. So take a look at it and read it.
And the guy that is on the rules committee came up with this crap and didn't even realize what he was doing.
All these other clubs that are in these.
In most cases, Kai, when you see what comes out of the AGM and all that stuff, they come up with ideas and they got no idea how it's going to be implemented. That's the amazing part of this whole thing. These guys have no idea how any of this stuff's going to work out in the field.
Yep.
And we're the guys that end up with all of the shit coming down, as we saw last year when we're juggling everything, trying to figure out what. So I'm trying to get like 11s and 12s, all that stuff. We should get ahead, because it's our members should look to us for good, solid information as to how to proceed.
Yep.
All right.
Hey, Kai, you going to run with this one?
Yeah, I'm staying on top of him. I'm not yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, for something that needs to go out to the website, you're going to get everything to us and let us know.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, this is going to be it, I swear. The policing errant members, coaches, parents, possible law changes. All I'm saying there is this the acting out, the insane stuff, and I think we're covered. I think in our bylaws, by saying we don't have to take you next year, I think that covers most of the most egregious problems with behavior. If the behavior is bad, we don't have to have a standard, and that's why I put that in there, because I was, again, talking to Greg about it one of these days, and I said, we don't have a standard. We don't say you can't get thrown out of games.
Well, FYSA has a code of ethics.
They do,
okay?
But here's another good thing. Marino sent out a big thing about what's going to happen. He didn't say who, what, where. I mean, so Steve, you got a guideline, and that's it. We don't want you. We're going to throw you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We follow the FYSA code of ethics.
But the code of ethics
follow those code of ethics, we're not going to bring you back in the league. That's our policy.
And a guy, my uncle from Guatemala comes up, from Scotland comes up, and has a blowout on the sideline because he thinks it's unfair, and he's not going to take this shit anymore, right?
Well, that's a unique situation. We're not going to hold a club against that.
Who are you going to hold? Right?
But I mean, what I'm saying, but you're talking about an isolated incident. That's going to happen all over the place.
To me, think about this. That's the problem with everything. The last 2 years, the guys from South Florida brought up behavioral things to put in our bylaws. So the first one was kicking the kid out of the game if the parents were.
But if you have one incident, one or two incidences that come out of a club that the club is aware of and is working on towards fixing it, that's one thing. But if you have a club that is consistently not
what I'm saying.
then it is very simple. We're just going to tell them, hey, you're not coming back next year.
I don't think we need any more specificity.
No,
I think we
because we as a club already follow. I mean, we as a league already follow FYSA guidelines.
Yeah, well, we're too much.
Or FYSA code of
So I was
ethics.
talking about keeping a folder if it's the fourth thing, and this came up. It's Greg and Jerry are going to check this out, but we just had a North Lakeland coach tossed.
Yeah, well, we did this to Auburndale a few years ago.
This is the third North Lakeland incident now.
Exactly. Now we're going to start looking into it.
Well, now first of all, we've got to verify that it is the third one, because I'm not sure. But we will and say to North Lakeland, hey guys, what's going on out there?
And we will sanction the club.
We can't have any more of this bullshit. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and we did this to Auburndale a few years ago.
And we did it to Minnesota also.
And we did it to Minnesota, yeah.
And it was moderately effective.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't. I think it wasn't Auburndale, yeah.
And Minnesota really come on. I mean, it's been a couple of years since we've seen real insanity.
No, I don't think we need anything more than that because we threatened them with kicking them out of the league.
Yep. Well, I think that's just, and now we have the right, we have it in our bylaws that we can do it for cause. So I think that's enough for now, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody want to adjourn? Is there anything else?
Yeah, meeting adjourned.
Me too.
I make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
All in favor, aye.
Have a good night.
Kai, stay on for 1 second. Kai,
Yep.
I'm 5 weeks now. About where you do you remember where you were as far as